Good morning, everybody. It's time to cook breakfast. And this morning I'm just going to cook a simple one. I'm going to go ahead. I've got our roll of sausage, one of the rolls that we picked up yesterday. I'm going to slice it up. And I'm going to go ahead and cook up the whole roll because I think tonight I want to do breakfast for supper. We've not done that in a while. It's laundry day and I need something quick and easy because by the time I get laundry done, get everything put up, I need something quick and easy today. So we're going to start off this morning with some sausage, and I will do some scrambled eggs for Aiden. I think I'm just going to make me a sandwich out of it. And yeah, that'll be our breakfast for this morning. And then I'll already have the sausage cooked for tonight. And all I'll have to do is make a few biscuits and some chocolate gravy because that's what I'm thinking for supper. So, Aiden is not awake yet, and we are just going to let him sleep for a little bit. He had a little trouble going to sleep last night. He was wound up tighter than Dick's hat band. So we're just going to let him sleep for a little bit. I'm going to get some stuff done. I've got my laundry going. So I'm going to get some stuff done while he's still asleep. And then when he gets up, we'll eat, or he can eat, and we'll get school started and get on with this day. I've shown several times how I like to fry my sausage. I'm going to show it again. So I just let it cook for just a couple of minutes when I first put it in the skillet. And then I take the back of my fork and I press it down. I make the patties bigger and they're easier to cook. And they're biscuit size that way. You don't get all your sausage in the middle of the biscuit. It's actually distributed throughout. It browns up better, and this is the way we like it. It also, I'm having a sandwich for breakfast this morning, and it also makes sandwich size pieces, so yay. That's just how I've done it for years and years and years. And again, it doesn't take as long to cook. I love it. And there's my breakfast for the morning. Just a sausage and jelly on toast. Hey everybody, welcome back to From the Holler. If you're new, my name is Missy. And if you saw the title of this video, or if you watched yesterday's video, you will know that we are doing a pantry / freezer clean out / rotation. We do this every year. We have set a very strict grocery budget for ourselves of $25 per week in order to supplement with fresh produce and or fresh dairy, whichever we may need. There will be weeks that we use every penny of that $25 budget. There will be other weeks where we use zero. So, whether you are new to stocking your pantry and you have a ton of questions, which I hope to be able to answer for you, or whether you're an old pro and you've had a stock pantry for years and you know what you're doing, this series of videos is going to have something for everybody. I promise you. You're going to learn something new that it's going to be like, oh, I wish I'd thought of that. I'm going to be sharing our meals that we have, how to meal plan, shopping your own pantries and freezers in order to make that meal plan, how to plan your grocery list when it's the day that you go grocery shopping, how to get your pantry started, how to get it stocked, and just all the recipes that I'm going to be sharing with y'all. Like I said in yesterday's video, some of my meals will be throw together meals, and honestly, sometimes those are the best ones. We had one the other night, and y'all, it was awesome. I just went in, threw stuff together, and it was one of the best meals that we'd had in a while. I did intend on getting this started on the 1st of November, but if you've been following the channel for a little bit, you'll know that I was sick for pretty much the whole first week of November and struggled. I was on the struggle bus. So I am getting this started now as soon as I possibly could, and I apologize for that. We did start using out of the freezers and the pantries on November the 1st. We started this on our own, but I just didn't have the opportunity or feel like really getting into this series, and I wanted to make sure that this was a good series for you guys, that I was on point, I had the energy and the I guess you could say, to really make this good and make this understandable for everybody. So that's why I waited until I felt better in order to get this started. So here's step one of how I set out on this journey, okay? I went through and I downloaded freezer inventory. You can make your own, okay? But I supported another channel and a really good friend, and I went on her Etsy page and I purchased these and downloaded them, printed them off, and then made copies for all my freezers, and then the pantry inventory. And I went through every freezer, and I have a few, and I made a detailed inventory of everything that was in that freezer, and I put the little hash marks here so that I would know what I had in there. So that one is for my meat freezer. I have this one for my refrigerator freezer in my kitchen. I have, which one is this one? Oh, this is for my backup refrigerator, overflow refrigerator that we have out in the storage area. And then this one is my big freezer that I have out there with my meat freezer. It's got, you know, my vegetables, my everything, everything else. So it's where we keep, you know, like tortillas and just everything else. And I went through it, and I have pretty much went through all of the convenience foods. We're trying our best to get away from doing convenience foods because those can be expensive, okay? And once you get to using them, it's hard to come away from that. Let's just admit that. So we're trying to get away from that and do everything possible from scratch. So that's what I'm working on, and I think I've got it down to pretty much nothing else convenience foods is in the freezers, with the exception of Aiden's small pizzas. He loves those things, and you know what? Every now and then he deserves a convenience food item, and I'm not going to take just everything away from him, you know, and say Nanny's going to make all the snacks or Nanny's going to do this or whatever, because Nanny's not going to. So with that said, that was my first step, going through, making the inventories and making sure of what all I had. And then I sat down with my planner, just like this right here. I started meal planning from those inventories of meals that I know that my family will eat. And normally I'm meal plan once a week. But in order to be a little more precise for these 2 months, I made a meal plan for the whole month of November. So that way I knew I was running low on beef, on hamburger meat, on roasts, on all the things. I knew that when I did my inventory. So I wanted to make sure that I had those meals spaced out to where I had enough beef to get us through until the end of December. So that's another reason why I went through and made a meal plan for the whole month. And also, I did it so that it's right there in front of us. I put it up on my big whiteboard out in my hallway pantry. And it's right there in front of us. Paps can see it. I can see it. Aiden can see it. And we can pick from those meals what we want and on the day that we want it. I always go through and I mark off the meals that we've already had, and so that we know what we still have available for the month, and we can pick and choose what we're in the mood to eat the next night. And we always do it the night before, so that if I need to lay something out, it's a bigger item, it needs to thaw overnight, then I can do that. Or if it needs to marinate all day, you know what I'm saying? It makes things a lot easier. It just does. So that's how I did that. I'll be showing you guys my meal plan, my board that I have in my hallway pantry, so that you guys can get an idea of what it looks like, how I did it. Yes, I have a meal for every day, but I don't stick to that meal for that particular day necessarily. There are days when I just feel like something different, and I'll find it on the board and it'll be like that one. And I go ahead, after I fixed it, I go ahead, I cross it out, and it's off the board, it's over and done with, and we move on. So how I plan my meals, like I've said before, I start with a protein and I work my way out with that meal. So when somebody says, oh, this is not feasible, you can't do this, blah, blah, blah. Yes, you can, if you know how to shop and you know how to stock. Those are the 2 most important things in achieving this goal. Okay? So here's my whiteboard that I have out here in my hallway pantry. And I apologize for the lighting. It's very dark out here. But this is how I do things. I've got some homemade vanilla started, and I wanted to make sure that I know the date that I started it. And just a little reminder to go shake it every now and then. We've got some apples in the overflow fridge out there that we are trying to get to germinate, get to sprout. So I wanted to make sure that I know that. Over here is a list right now of things that I know for sure that I need to restock, and that will go all the way down before this pantry challenge is over and done with. But here are my meals for the month of November. If you can read my handwriting, and you see Thanksgiving there, we're actually doing our Thanksgiving the Friday after. So ours will be Friday instead of Thursday. But I've got Parmesan crusted pork chops, creamy Tuscan chicken, beans and taters. You'll see that on here at least one more time. Cheesy chicken quesadillas, Parmesan Dijon chicken, Southwest roasted chicken. That's where one of my whole chickens went. Stovetop easy chicken bake, fettuccine Alfredo. I make a killer fettuccine Alfredo. It is a copycat Olive Garden recipe, and y'all, you don't want to miss that.
And the only thing that we have up here on restock, I think that's what this list was, is soy sauce.
Yep, very good. Skillet chicken parm, baked chicken and rice, burrito skillet. That is a really quick and easy meal. Egg rolls with chicken and rice. I am not going to butcher that, and I am going to attempt to make those, all of that homemade. Crock pot bow tie casserole, steak and taters. I found a really good deal on steaks back first of the summer, so we still have a few left, and we are enjoying those every now and then to make them last. Beans and taters, again, burgers and tots. I will be making all that from scratch. Roast and taters, we've already had that. Pinto bean casserole, you guys have already seen that video. Chili, chicken enchilada soup, chicken chili. I have that canned in there in my overflow pantry, so just grab a jar of that, heat it up, it's good to go. That came in very handy while I was sick for a week. Cowboy soup, I also have that canned in my overflow pantry. And then of course Thanksgiving, tater tot casserole, loaded potato soup. You all have already seen the video for that. Veggie soup, I think I've done a video on that also. We did a lot of soups while I was sick. Air fryer chicken thighs or legs, I have both out there in the freezer, so it just depends on what we're in the mood for. Chicken wings, y'all, I love those things.
Also, since we did a lot of soup, but it's one because we love soup.
Smoked sausage, I thaw out a pack of smoked sausage, throw it in a skillet, and make sauerkraut and some kind of potatoes, and that's always a hit. And then brisket. I have a big brisket out there in the freezer that needs to be cooked up soon, and y'all, that brisket alone will take us through probably the first week of December. Different kind of brisket meals. So I am excited to get that smoked up and get that eaten. We love brisket. We are a big beef family. So yes, there are a lot of chicken meals on here, but every night we've got some type of protein in our meals, and I build around that. Aiden is hungry for lunch, and it's kind of a late lunch, but he ate a late breakfast this morning. So he wants a peanut butter and jelly. Surprise, surprise. We're finishing off this big loaf of bread. Y'all, this is my favorite bread in the world. I love it. But I also love my homemade. So that's coming up. And I had, well, there it is. I got this little contraption off of Amazon, and it makes the homemade Uncrustables. So that's what he likes. That's how he likes his peanut butter and jelly. And y'all, peanut butter is typically on sale at least once a month at Kroger. And I know I keep talking about Kroger, but that is, and I am not loyal to one store or another, but I go through all their sale papers, and they just tend to have the best sales, and they typically have peanut butter on sale at least once a month, especially right now. Like I said, this time of year is perfect to start your pantry or stock up your pantries. Still trying to use up this jar of store-bought jelly. I had to get this earlier in the year because we ran out of our home canned. Like I said earlier, that's not going to be a problem this year. I may have went a little overboard with our jellies, but that will make really good Christmas gifts. So, don't tell them, but that's what my kids are getting for Christmas. So, Just saying. It's the gift that keeps on giving. All right, there we go. And I've got peanut butter all over me. Oh well. So now I'm just going to take this, put it in the center, push down. Then you take this piece and you push it on through. And then what you're left with is a beautiful Uncrustable. And then I eat this. So there's my lunch. Let me grab me a plate. That is my lunch. Nothing wasted. And then he loves these chips from Aldi. So I'll put him a few chips on there. A few chips on mine. And there's lunch. There we go. There's lunch. All right, y'all, let's go eat. It's time to cook supper, y'all. Well, actually, it's time to cook breakfast for supper, y'all. So, I am going to make my homemade biscuits. And normally I make a half batch because it's pretty much the perfect amount for us. But tonight I'm going to make a whole batch and I'm going to cook up what we will eat tonight. And the rest of them I'm going to put in the fridge so I can pull them out this weekend. And I don't have to make biscuits again because they'll already be made. So, there is 3 cups of all-purpose flour. 2 tablespoons of sugar. 2½ teaspoons of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon of salt. We're going to stir this all together. Oh, wait a minute, I forgot. Need some buttermilk. So we need a cup of buttermilk. So we're going to put 4 tablespoons of our buttermilk powder in here. There's 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to stir this all together. I have a stick of unsalted butter that I've cubed up. Over here, we're going to put that in. It is super cold. And there is my cutter. We're just going to cut this butter into this flour mixture. And we just want it to be the consistency of pebbles. And I have already got a mess going on here. That's why I wear a apron most of the time. Most of the time. I didn't take the time to put it on. Y'all, it's been a long day. It's been a laundry day. And I'm done. I am done. I do not understand how we have so much laundry when there's 3 people that live here. Okay? I don't understand. I swear I think that child changes clothes about 8 or 10 times a day. I don't know. Alright. Get all that off my pastry cutter. There we go. I don't want to leave any of that butter on there. That's the good stuff. Alright. We're going to add in 1 cup of water. And y'all, I'm going in with my hands. They're clean. And I need to get these biscuits on. I have got my oven preheated to 400 degrees. My oven cooks a little bit hotter, so I turn it down to 400 to make my biscuits. Now, if you don't have a stick of butter to put in your biscuits. You can do some shortening. If you prefer to use shortening, you can do that. However you need to do it. I like to use butter in mine. Every now and then I'll put some shortening in it, but for the most part I like to use the butter. Get some of this dough off my hands. That way I can feel a little bit better about what the texture is. Right now it's feeling a little bit dry, and I may have to add just a little bit more water. Yeah, let me go grab just a little bit more water, because right now it's a little bit too dry. It's not going to take a whole lot of water. Let's get this in. That's going to do it. Yep. So I added probably about a tablespoon or so of water. Yeah, much better. I don't want dry biscuits. Yuck. Makes them dense and they just don't do what they're supposed to. All right. We'll set these back over there for just a minute. Move some of this stuff so that I've got room. All right, I put me a piece of parchment paper out here. I'm going to get me a little bit of flour. Just a teeny tiny bit. So I don't want to add a whole bunch to my biscuit dough. We're going to turn the dough out here. Y'all, look what I got. My bestie loves me, and she watched one of my videos, and she said, I've got one I don't use, let me take this one to her. And that's exactly what she did. She brought me a rolling pin. Thank you so much, Miss Tracy. I appreciate it. Let me move this out of the way. Now, it's been so long since I used a rolling pin, I don't know if I can remember how to do it or not. And that's in my way now. Don't want to make these too thin. There we go. All right, I'm going to grab my biscuit cutter. We're just going to go through. We're just going to press down. We're not going to twist or anything like that. Just going to press down. Get our biscuits, our beautiful biscuits cut. Now we'll take the ones that we're going to be cooking now. We're going to take those out. And I'm just going to just kind of do that and put them back here in my cast iron skillet that I've got buttered up really good. Can y'all tell I like butter? 'Cause I do. There we go. Dogs are making some noise in there. Y'all can probably hear them. There we go. Breakfast just kind of hits different when it's for supper. It's my favorite time to eat breakfast. Are you a breakfast for supper kind of person? Yay or nay? Tell me in the comments. If I had thought about it, I would have made some potatoes to go with this. But that's okay. We need a fast, easy meal tonight, so that is just fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's plenty. So these other ones, I'm going to go ahead and get these put in the oven. There's our biscuits. We're going to get these put in the oven. We're going to let them cook for about 15 to 18 minutes or so. And I am just going to stand here and get the rest of this biscuit dough rolled out and cut out and get it ready for the freezer. All right, y'all, we got 6 more biscuits. We'll put me a piece of parchment paper on this little baking sheet right here. We're going to lay these biscuits out on it, and I'm going to go stick these in the freezer for about an hour, and then I'll take them out and put them in a freezer bag, get them ready. I am going to put something over top of this. Well, let me see. I've got some press and seal plastic wrap. We will just put this over the top. One of the pleasures of cleaning my freezer out is I will have room for things like this again. Alright, this is going to go in the freezer for about an hour. Then we'll take it out, put it in a freezer bag so that they don't stick together and become one. And then that way we can go grab as many as we need, or if we need all of them, whatever. Let me go put these in the freezer. It's time to make the chocolate gravy. I have about 2.5 to 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter, and it's just melting here in my pot. Kind of whisk that around a little bit. We're going to let that melt for just a second while we mix up our other stuff. Alright, to my bowl I'm going to add 2/3 cup of sugar. I am using Splenda. I'm using a 1/3 cup measure. That is that. 2 tablespoons all-purpose flour. 1/3 cup of cocoa, unsweetened cocoa. We're going to mix all that together. We're going to put our butter back on here. I had to take it off the heat for just a second so I could run and grab something. So, get that going again. Alright. And then we're going to dump our mixture in, and we're going to just whisk it around. Give it just a second. And then we're going to put our first cup of milk. We'll be adding 2 cups total. There's our first cup of milk. We want to whisk that really well. Make sure that there's no clumps. While that is going, I'm going to pour my second cup of milk. Have it ready. And then we'll put in our second cup of milk. There we go. You don't want to walk away from this because it will scorch. And you don't want to stop stirring it. You want to kind of baby it just a little bit. Check on my biscuits. They're almost done. Paps is home. Y'all, we're ready to eat supper almost. This is going to take about 5 to 7 minutes or so, something like that, to come together. You just want your chocolate gravy to get thick like you do any other gravy, okay? You just want it to get thick, not too thick, but you just want, you choose your consistency on this, okay? Whatever you like your gravy, the thickness you like your gravy at. That's what I do. Sometimes I want it a little thinner, you know, but you choose. Y'all, it's already coming together and smelling amazing. Now, normally I will take this off right before it gets to the consistency that I really want it to be, because it's going to sit in this pot and it's going to get a little bit thicker, okay? So this is there, like this is there. I'm going to go ahead and turn the heat off. Yeah, it's there. We are good. We're golden. There we go. There we go. All right, y'all. Chocolate gravy is done. Biscuits are fixing to come out of the oven. All I gotta do is heat the sausage up. Let me get this off the heat. And our supper is ready. And there's my supper. Chocolate gravy, homemade biscuits, and sausage. That's my favorite. Let's go eat supper, y'all.